Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 9th of April 2023, and happy Easter to you. And I thought I would do a slightly different video today. Basically, I think what I'll do is tell you a very old story, although I will be kind of altering it slightly, embellishing it a bit and modernising it a bit, or at least putting it into a modern context, because that helps me get my head around it and tell it better, quite honestly. But it is a very old story, and I've been inspired to do this for two reasons. First of all, Nigel Watson, another YouTuber who you may know. If you don't know him, I can highly recommend his videos. He came out with an old story in pretty much his latest video a few days ago, and a totally different story. I'm not just going to be repeating his one. I'm doing a completely different one, but I was kind of inspired to do the same thing by watching his video, and I know he watches some of my videos at least, so hi Nigel, if you're watching, thanks for the inspiration. And the other reason why I'm doing it is, well, it's just a very appropriate day to do so, being Easter Sunday. So with that said, let's just get on with the story. As I say, I've just adapted it a little bit. So there's this guy, and he owns a very large house. He's not short of a bob or two, and he's been doing a building project there. Quite extensive building works, and although it's nearing completion, it's been dragging on a lot, much to his wife's discontent, and she's not happy with him. She's been telling him, look, you need to get this building work finished and you need to do it soon. And then, because the daughter's 80th birthday party's coming up at the weekend, she gives him a final ultimatum. Well, you need to have this work done and dusted by the end of the week, because it's our daughter's party at the weekend, so get on with it. So he does so, and the work's coming on apace, but he gets to kind of Thursday evening, early Friday morning, and he thinks, crumbs, I'm really not going to get this finished. I've got to take some drastic action here. Luckily, he's got a good contact down at the local employment agency, Sebastian, down there at the employment agency, who he's used to get labourers in the past. He rings them up early on the Friday morning and says, look, Sebastian, look, I need some help here. Can you get me 5 guys, some real hard workers? And I'll give them all a really good day rate. Now, I don't know how much building site labourers get paid now personally. I know a few years ago it was about 80 quid a day, but I'm presuming it's kind of up to 100, 120, let's say £125 a day maybe that they get now. So this guy, he says to Sebastian, I'll give them quadruple, and also I'll give you quadruple your normal commission. So each of these 5 labourers are going to get £500 a day, basically. So a very, very good rate of pay. And he just says they need to be at my place 9 o'clock sharp, and they need to work very, very hard. So anyway, 9 o'clock comes round. These guys, 5 guys turn up, and they know what they're getting paid. They're kind of high-fiving each other, really happy with this fantastic rate of pay they're getting for, just for one day's work. Some of them are saying, how they're going to have the whole of next week off because they can afford to do so. Others are saying they're going to party all weekend. Others are saying, they're going to take their wife and kids away for a little trip and stuff, all this kind of thing. They're sort of all really, really happy. But then, start comes, they get working and they work hard and things are coming on very, very nicely. But as midday approaches, the site owner is thinking, crumbs, it's still not going to get finished despite the fact that I've got these 5 great guys here. I'll better get back to Sebastian. Sebastian, mate, I'm going to need another 5. If you can get them around here for midday, that'd be great. Same rate. I'll give them the same rate, and your commission will be the same. But just please, get them around here as soon as you can. Cheers. And so the employment agency arranges for another 5 labourers to get there, and they get there at midday, and again they're really happy. £500 for really only a half a day's work, absolutely brilliant, and they're high-fiving and everything. And then they get started, and they're working hard, and things are coming on pace. The job's getting done, progress has been made. But it gets to mid-afternoon, and this site owner sort of realises, oh dear, this still isn't going to get done by the end of the day, despite the fact I've got these 10 fantastic guys working for me. Blimey. Just as an aside, it's always struck me that this bloke's not exactly the best project manager in the world. That's just a little aside. That's how the story goes. Anyway, around about 3 o'clock, or just before he gets onto the phone, Sebastian, mate, I'm going to need another 5. These guys are great, but it's just a lot more work than I thought. Same rate. I'll give them the same, give you the same on your commission. Just need them here for sort of 3 o'clock, or as soon as, close to 3 o'clock as you can do it. Thanks, cheers. And anyway, these next lot of 5 guys arrive. They're all really happy as well, doing all the high-fiving, etc. And they get to work, and although they've all got to work quite late, up until sort of, about 7 o'clock in the evening, let's say, finally all the work gets done. The work gets done to the site owner's satisfaction, and more importantly, it gets done to his wife's satisfaction. So all's good there. So it gets time to pay all of these guys. So he's sitting, the site owner's sitting there in his garden, sort of little garden table, and he's got all of these stacks of money on the table ready to pay the guys. He's a cash man all the way. He's heard of Klaus Schwab and World Economic Forum, and he's not the greatest fan of either them or their sort of plans for a cashless society. So he's got the cash ready to give all of these guys. They line up, and the way he's doing it is the guys who arrived last are the first to get paid. So the 3 o'clockers, the 5 of them line up, and they get paid their sort of £500, and they're really, really happy. And then the guys who got there at 12 o'clock, they line up, they get paid. Finally, the people who have been there all day, the 9 o'clockers, they line up, and they get their money as well. But soon after, there's some mumbling and grumbling, some groaning and moaning, and the air is rather full of some considerable discontent. Particularly among the sort of original guys, the 9 o'clockers. Even a couple of the sort of 12 o'clockers are piping up as well. And the site owner is sort of noticing all of this, and he says, guys, what's up, what's wrong? And then one of them, the spokesman, comes forward and he goes, Gov, this just ain't right, the site owner goes, what's not right? There's something, the money you've given us, well, I've given you what we agreed. Are you not happy with that? And the guy, Gov, we're happy with the money and all that, but it's like, these latecomers, you've just given them the same as what you've given us, even though we've been here a lot longer and done way more work than they've done. We're expecting that either you would give them less or us more, but we've all just got the same. That's just not right, Gov, just not right. And the site owner says, well, you're more than happy with the agreed rate. It's a very generous rate, I think you'll agree, and I've sort of kept my word and I've given you what we agreed, so what's the problem? And the moral of the story, which many people will have guessed, is the parable of the vineyard workers. I've adapted it a little bit there, modernised it, and it's obviously from Matthew 20 verses 1 to 16. And that story has always resonated with me right from when I first heard it many years ago, and every time I've heard it since, it's still resonated with me. Of course, the basic message behind it is it doesn't matter what stage of your life that you accept God and Jesus into your life. You could be a lifelong Christian, or you could just come to sort of Jesus pretty much at the end of your life, but you're still going to get the same reward, a place in the kingdom of heaven. So that is the basic moral behind that. And also, when I was at Milton Keynes, this illustrates this quite well, but I was talking to a lady there, and she told me the story of when Jesus was being crucified, and then he had the two common criminals either side of him also being executed, and apparently one of them was just not accepting of Jesus at all. He was mocking him, and all of the rest of it not being very nice at all. But the other one on the other side was a lot more amenable to Jesus, and he just said to him, "Look, I accept you and who you are. Please just take me to wherever you're going at the end of this." And then Jesus sort of said to him, "Tonight we'll both dine in paradise," or words to that effect. So that again illustrates it doesn't matter when you accept Jesus, as long as you do so. And this guy was obviously at the end of his life. He was literally in the middle of being executed before he kind of accepted Jesus, but because he did so, he was going to get an equal reward to Jesus's very earliest disciples and followers. So again, illustrates the point really well, doesn't it? But also, going back to the parable of the vineyard workers, the reason why that really resonates is it's such a good study in human psychology, and it shows that human psychology just doesn't change over the millennia. We're all basically the same as what we were thousands of years ago, and how we will be in thousands of years' time as well. And we can all relate to that story, and for a fact that if something like that happened in a modern workplace, a very modern factory, load of people on the production line, well, if some people, all doing the same job, but if some people sort of down there sort of found out that people down there were getting more money than them, or the same money but their hours were less, well, there'd soon be a strike, wouldn't there? We know that for a fact, don't we? And in fact, I'm actually guilty of this myself. Many years ago, when I was doing a job, still in employed life rather than self-employed, I found out that two guys who did exactly the same job as me were getting £1,000 a year more than I was. And when the boss wouldn't redress the situation, when I asked him about it, I kind of just left the job. So I'm equally as guilty of this kind of thinking myself. and it doesn't even necessarily have to relate to work and wages. How many times in your life have you kind of bought something only to sort of either walk past the shop window a few weeks later, or be talking to someone who got exactly the same thing, made exactly the same purchase as you, but the deal was a lot better, a lot less money than what you paid. That thing or that purchase that you were very happy with, all of a sudden you're not happy at all about it, are you? So it's human psychology, isn't it? And I suppose again the lesson is just don't sort of take these things to heart, or take these things, be so upset by these things. It's life, these things happen, and if you were at the time of your purchase, or at the time you signed your contract for a job, if you're happy with the deal that you got, just keep on being happy with it, and it doesn't matter if someone there or over there is got a slightly better deal than you. So very interesting story, and I just thought I'd tell that. It's a story that has really resonated with me for ages, and I thought today was a good day to tell it. So hope you liked it. A little bit of a different video, but I'll be back with my normal stuff very soon. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.